Welcome to Graveyard Mile, where every mile has a story, and every story leaves something buried. Tonight, we dig up the truth behind the hollow beneath black pines, where the house doesn't just remember who died in it, it remembers who's next. The realtor never mentioned the graves. When Emma Klein signed the deed to the old Westcott property, she was too exhausted to care about fine print. The house, a sagging two-story on the edge of Grafton, Maine, had been listed for half the market price. Her husband, Mark, joked it was probably haunted. She'd laughed at that once. They moved in the first week of October, just as the maples bled red across the hills. Their daughter, Lily, ran through the brittle grass, kicking up leaves, the sound of her giggles echoing off the tree line. The house stood at the end of a dirt road bordered by towering black pines. No neighbors, no cell service, just wind and the faint trickle of a creek behind the barn. Inside, the air smelled like iron and old wood. "Smells like history," Mark had said, prying open a stuck window. The boards groaned like something waking from sleep. They spent the first few days cleaning, unpacking, and patching leaks. Emma found a pile of yellowed newspaper stuffed inside a crawl space in the kitchen wall, 1940s issues of the Grafton Ledger. Most were brittle and illegible, but a headline caught her eye. "Local family found dead in mysterious circumstances. Sheriff calls scene unholy." No names, just the date, October 3rd, 1947. She folded it and slid it into a drawer, telling herself it was nothing. But that night, she dreamed of water running under the floorboards. The first sign came on their third evening. Mark had gone into town for supplies. The sun was sinking, gold spilling through the pines, when Emma heard the tap-tap-tap from upstairs. "Lily," she called, wiping her hands on a dish towel. No answer. She climbed the narrow staircase. The sound grew louder, rhythmic like knuckles on wood. It came from Lily's room. Emma opened the door. Lily sat cross-legged on the floor, crayons scattered around her. She was drawing a black shape, a long figure with no face, standing in the trees. "Sweetheart, what are you drawing?" Lily looked up. "The man by the well." Emma frowned. "What man?" "The one who waves." Emma glanced out the window. There was nothing but pines, their shadows stretching toward the house. She told herself it was imagination. Kids saw things. They just moved. Everything was new. But when she went downstairs later, she saw something wet seeping from between the floorboards. Thin, dark streaks like muddy water. The boards were cold to the touch. When Mark returned, she didn't mention it. They found the well the next morning. It sat behind the barn, half hidden by vines. The stones were slick with moss, and a warped plank covered the opening. Mark leaned over it, shining his flashlight down. "Can't see the bottom," he said. "Probably just runoff from the creek." Lily was quiet, holding Emma's hand. "It's deep," she whispered. "He lives down there." Mark laughed. "Ooh, the well monster." Lily didn't laugh back. That night, Emma woke to the sound of whispering. Faint, muffled, coming from beneath the floor. She nudged Mark awake, but by the time he stirred, the sound had stopped. Only the creak of the house settling. She got up, padded to the hallway. The air was damp, cold. From the baseboards came the smell of wet earth. In the moonlight, she saw footprints, small and bare, leading from the hallway toward the cellar door. Lily's door was open. Emma's heart pounded. She hurried down the stairs, calling her daughter's name. The cellar door was ajar. She grabbed the flashlight and went down. The beam wobbled across stacked boxes, old tools, and the rough stone walls. "Lily!" Something dripped. In the far corner, water pooled on the floor, rippling like something had just moved through it. Then, from behind her, a breath. Low, wet, close. She spun, but the beam hit nothing. The sound stopped. She felt her skin prickle, the hair on her neck rising. When she went back upstairs, Lily was sitting in the kitchen, feet muddy, eyes blank. "I told him I'd come back," she said. Emma didn't sleep after that. By the end of the week, the house began to change. Mold crept along the baseboards, no matter how much bleach she used. The clocks all stopped at 3:17 a.m. every night. The sound of dripping water came and went, even when the pipes were dry. And Lily's drawings grew darker. The faceless man closer now, reaching for the house. Mark brushed it off. New environment, old house. It's all in our heads. But Emma started noticing him waking up at night, standing by the window, staring toward the pines. Once, she caught him whispering something under his breath. When she asked, he blinked as if he didn't remember. The next morning, she found muddy footprints by his side of the bed. On October 3rd, the same date from the newspaper, a storm hit. Rain hammered the roof, thunder rolling over the hills. The power went out. They lit candles. The three of them huddled in the living room, wind howling through the chimney. Then Lily said, "He's coming inside now." Mark's candle flickered out. In the darkness, Emma heard it, the slow creak of the back door opening. She grabbed a flashlight, heart slamming in her chest. The beam cut across the kitchen. The door stood open, rain slashing through it. And on the floor, wet footprints. Bare, leading down the hall. "Mark?" she whispered. He didn't answer. The footprints stopped at the cellar door. It was open. Something below shifted, heavy and wet, like something dragging itself upward through water. Then came the whisper, the same she'd heard that first night, but louder now, layered, as if a dozen voices spoke through the same drowned mouth. "Come down." Emma dropped the flashlight. The beam spun across the wall, and in that flicker, she saw a hand. Gray, bloated, fingers too long, gripping the stair rail. When she screamed, the house seemed to breathe with her. The storm swallowed her scream. Rain slashed against the house in furious sheets, wind moaning through the trees. The cellar door yawned open, and from its mouth came the sound of something climbing, slow, wet, deliberate. "Mark!" Emma's voice cracked. "Get Lily upstairs." He didn't move. He stood by the kitchen table, candle guttering in his hand, eyes glassy. "Mark!" He turned toward her. For a heartbeat, she thought he would answer, but his lips only moved soundlessly. His pupils were blown wide, black swallowing the blue. The candle flickered again, and she saw it, a thin rivulet of water trickling down his cheek, as though he were crying from the inside out. "Mark, you're bleeding." The flame went out. Something thudded up the cellar steps. Emma stumbled back, grabbing the nearest thing, a rusted fire poker from beside the stove. The floor trembled under her feet. From below came a heavy breath, then silence. She raised the poker, trembling. "Who's there?" A voice answered, not from the cellar, but from behind her. "He's here already." Lily stood in the doorway, her nightgown soaked, her small hand clutching something. A scrap of paper, crumpled and wet. Emma rushed to her. "Sweetheart, we have to go." "Where's Daddy?" Lily's eyes didn't blink. "He's talking to the man in the well." Emma followed her daughter's gaze. The back door still stood open, the rain a white curtain beyond it. Mark was gone. She didn't remember running outside. Only the cold, the mud clutching at her feet. The flashlight beam quivered across the field. "Mark," she shouted. "Mark, please." The wind tore her voice away. She caught movement near the barn, a figure, hunched and swaying. She ran toward it, rain stabbing her skin like needles. "Mark!" He was kneeling by the well, his hands on the rotted plank. The flashlight beam caught his face, pale, streaked with mud and blood, eyes staring down into the black mouth below. Emma grabbed his shoulder. "Mark, stop!" He turned to her, lips moving soundlessly again, whispering something she couldn't hear over the storm. Then, louder, "He's waiting for you." Before she could pull him back, he lifted the plank. The stench at her first, rot, stagnant water, old death. The air shivered with whispers. She thought she saw movement far below, rippling in the darkness, something rising. "Mark, close it." He didn't. He leaned closer, transfixed. Then something grabbed him. A hand, gray and long, slick with slime, shot from the well and seized his wrist. Mark screamed. The sound was swallowed by thunder. Emma lunged, caught his other arm, braced her heels in the mud. "Mark, pull." He was being dragged downward, inch by inch. His fingers slipped through hers, nails raking her skin. Then silence. The hand vanished. The water below went still. The well was empty, and Mark was gone. For a long time, Emma couldn't move. Rain poured over her, plastering her hair to her face. She was shaking, from cold or terror. She couldn't tell. When she finally turned, Lily was standing in the field behind her. The girl's nightgown glowed white in the lightning. "Sweetheart," he said, "Daddy belongs to the water now," Lily whispered. "He said you will too." Emma's throat tightened. "Who said that?" "The man who waves." The wind shrieked through the pines. For an instant, just one, Emma thought she saw someone standing among them. A tall, faceless shape, its arm raised in a slow, deliberate motion. She ran. By morning, the storm was gone. The air hung heavy, the sky bruised purple. Emma sat at the kitchen table, blanket around her shoulders, staring at the empty chair across from her. Mark's mug still sat there, half full, the surface filmed over with dust. She had called for help as soon as the roads cleared, but the sheriff's car never came. The radio only hissed static. Lily sat by the window, humming to herself, eyes fixed on the tree line. Emma tried to eat, tried to think, tried to believe this was real. But the house itself felt wrong. The walls seemed to pulse faintly, like they were breathing. From a cellar came a steady, distant drip, as though the storm had left something behind. When Emma went to check the basement that afternoon, she found muddy water pooled ankle-deep, and footprints leading to the far corner, where the foundation met the earth. The wall there was cracked open. Behind it, a narrow tunnel sloped downward into darkness. She felt the cold breath of the well rising from it. That night, Lily began to sing in her sleep. Emma woke to the sound, a low, lilting melody, like a lullaby heard underwater. She rushed to her daughter's room. Lily sat upright in bed, eyes wide open, her lips moving with the song. "Lily!" No response. Emma touched her shoulder. The girl turned her head slowly, her mouth still singing, but the voice that came out wasn't hers. It was deeper, layered, a dozen tones overlapping. "Come and see." Emma stumbled back. "Wake up!" Lily blinked, and the voice stopped. "Mommy." Emma swallowed hard. "It's okay, baby. Just a bad dream." But when she tucked Lily back in, she saw something dark under the girl's pillow, a photograph. Old, water-stained. It showed the house, the same sagging roof, same well, but standing in front of it was a family of four. The man's face was blacked out. The woman's smile was faint, forced. Two children stood in front, a girl and a boy. On the back, in faded pencil, was written, "The Westcotts, 1947, the date of the murders." By morning, the house reeked of rot. The water in the sink ran brown. Flies buzzed near the vents. Emma tried the car. The engine sputtered, cough died. The phone line was dead. She packed what she could into a backpack. Clothes, flashlight, Lily's stuffed rabbit. They would walk to town if they had to. But when she stepped outside, the road was gone. Not gone, changed. Where the dirt track had been, there was now a flooded trench, murky water stretching in both directions. The trees pressed closer, their trunks slick and black. Lily stood beside her, holding her hand. "He doesn't want us to leave," she said softly. Emma looked down. "Who?" Lily pointed toward the trees. The tall man stood there again, closer now, no more than 30 feet away. His form shimmered, rippling like water. As she watched, he lifted one long arm and beckoned. Then he smiled, or maybe the shadow of one moved where his face should have been. Emma backed toward the house. Inside. Now. They slammed the door. Something outside began to knock. 3 slow, heavy beats. Then silence. Lily whispered, "That means yes." Emma turned to her, trembling. "What is?" The knocking. 1 for yes, 2 for no. "Who told you that?" "The man in the well." The second set of knocks came, louder this time. 2 beats. "No," Lily said, almost cheerfully. "He's not going away." That night, the whispering started again. It came from under the floorboards, circling the house like a tide. Emma sat awake by Lily's bed, clutching the fire poker, the flashlight trembling in her hand. She felt the floor hum beneath her feet, the faintest vibration, as though something enormous moved beneath the earth. The walls groaned. The air grew damp, and then she heard Mark's voice. "Em." Her heart stopped. It came from the hall. Low, hoarse. "Emma, help me." She rose slowly, every nerve screaming to run. "Mark, down here." The cellar door creaked open. The smell of the well rolled out, cold, brackish, suffocating. Come down, the voice whispered again. It's so dark. I can't find you. She took a step forward, then stopped. The voice shifted. Now it was Lily's. Mommy, please. Emma froze. The flashlight beam trembled in her hand. She turned. Lily was still in bed, fast asleep. But the voice from the cellar laughed. Hi, childlike, wrong. Then the whisper came again, a chorus this time, from beneath the floor, behind the walls, even in her head. Come down. Come down. Come down. Emma waited for the dawn that never came. The light outside was a pale bruise, the sky a smear of gray over the pines. She sat by Lily's bed, the poker still in her hands, every muscle rigid. The whispers had stopped sometime near morning, leaving behind a ringing silence that felt worse than the noise. Lily slept uneasily, her small body twitching under the blanket. Every so often she murmured words Emma couldn't understand, a language that rolled like water. Emma brushed a strand of hair from her daughter's face. The girl's skin felt clammy, her breath shallow. She couldn't stay here. Whatever had taken Mark, whatever haunted the well, it was spreading through the water, through the walls, through them. By noon, the air inside the house had thickened. The smell of wet soil and decay clung to everything. When Emma turned on the tap, the water came out black. She shut it off and stared at her reflection in the window above the sink. Her eyes looked hollow. Behind her, in the dim reflection, something moved, a shape, tall and still, standing in the hallway. When she spun around, the hallway was empty. Only the cellar door hung open again, swaying slightly. The whisper came once more, soft as breath. Come and see. She found an old oil lantern in the pantry and lit it with shaking hands. The flame shuddered behind the glass. Stay here, sweetheart, she told Lily. No matter what you hear, don't come downstairs. Do you understand? Lily looked up at her. He doesn't want you to go alone. Emma's mouth went dry. Then he can watch. She took the lantern and the poker and stepped down into the dark. The cellar smelled of iron and earth. The water was deeper now, lapping at her ankles. It was freezing. The beam of the lantern trembled across the stone walls until it found the opening, the tunnel she'd discovered the day before. The earth there was wet and pulsing, like the ground itself was breathing. She ducked and entered. The tunnel sloped downward, the air thick with rot. She could hear the distant trickle of water. No, not water. Something heavier, viscous. Her breath came ragged, echoing off the walls. Every few steps, she saw handprints, smeared in mud, too large for a man, trailing along the wall. She followed them. The tunnel widened, and she found herself in a chamber carved out of stone. The ceiling dripped steadily. In the center was a pool, the same black water as the well above. Floating in it was a shape. Mark, she whispered. He hung just beneath the surface, face turned upward, eyes open. His lips moved, bubbles slipping from between them, whispering. She took a step closer, tears stinging her eyes. Mark, I'm here. His body twitched. Slowly, impossibly, he rose until his face broke the surface. Emma, he gurgled. His skin had gone pale and soft, waterlogged. His eyes were wrong, black, endless. Help me, he said, though his mouth didn't move. The voice came from everywhere, from the water, from the walls, from inside her skull. Come in. She stumbled back, shaking her head. No. The pool rippled. The water began to rise, climbing the walls, reaching for her boots. And then she saw him. The tall figure stood behind Mark's body, emerging from the water like a shadow, solidifying. Its form was human, but not. The limbs were too long, the head tilted at an impossible angle. Its skin was the color of old stone, slick with moss. Where a face should have been, there was only a smooth expanse, except for a mouth stitched shut with black thread. Still, she heard it whisper. Trade. Emma clutched the poker, trembling. What do you want? The mouth didn't move, but the voice filled the chamber. 1 for 1. She shook her head. You can't have her. The shadow leaned closer, towering above her. She came to me first. The water surged. The lantern flickered wildly. Mark's corpse jerked upright, his hands reaching toward her. Emma, he gurgled again. Let her go. No, she screamed, swinging the poker. It sliced through air and hit something solid. The figure staggered back, water exploding upward. The flame went out. Darkness swallowed her. She ran. The tunnel seemed to twist beneath her feet, the walls pulsing, narrowing, breathing. Hands reached from the earth, clawing at her clothes. The whispers followed her, now a chorus of dozens of voices. Come down, come down, come down. She burst out of the cellar and slammed the door behind her. Her lungs burned. She grabbed Lily from her bed and ran outside, barefoot, into the cold. The trees loomed around them, black silhouettes against the colorless sky. The path to the road was still flooded, but she didn't care. She waded into the water, clutching Lily to her chest. Behind them, the house moaned. The roof sagged, the windows bowing outward as if something inside was pushing against the walls. "Mommy," Lily whispered. "He's following us." Emma turned. The tall man stood in the doorway, head bent sideways to fit beneath the frame. His arms hung long at his sides, fingers trailing like tendrils. As she watched, he stepped down onto the porch, and the ground rippled beneath him like liquid. "Don't look at him," she said, choking on her breath. "Just run." They slogged through the flooded path, mud sucking at their feet. The trees grew thicker, bending inward. The water deepened. Then, out of nowhere, Lily screamed. Emma turned. The girl was yanked backward, something invisible coiling around her ankle. The water boiled around her, dark shapes moving beneath the surface. "Let her go." Emma dove forward, grabbing Lily's arms. She pulled with everything she had. The unseen grip tightened, dragging both of them toward the center of the flooded road. For an instant, Emma saw what was below, faces. Dozens of them, pale and bloated, drifting just beneath the surface. Eyes open, mouths whispering. Then the tall man's hand broke the water, closing around her wrist. Cold unlike anything she'd ever felt surge through her. The world went white. When she woke, she was lying in the yard. The sky above her was bright, morning. Lily sat beside her, dry and smiling. "Did I fall asleep?" Emma croaked. Lily nodded. "He said we can stay now." Emma's vision swam. The house loomed behind them, silent, whole again. The porch repaired, the windows clean. The air smelled of pine, not rot. Birds sang in the trees. "Sweetheart," she said softly, "what did you do?" Lily tilted her head. "He said he needed someone else." Emma's heart turned to ice. "Someone else?" Lily pointed toward the well. The plank was gone. The water below shimmered faintly, and something floated just beneath the surface. It was Emma's body. She staggered backward, choking. "No, no, no." Lily smiled. "You said you'd do anything for me." Then she turned toward the house, her small hand brushing the doorframe. The wood rippled under her touch like water. "Come inside, Mommy," she said. "You'll like it better here." The tall man stood in the window, watching. The first thing Emma noticed was the quiet. The forest, the wind, even the distant birds, all gone. The world held its breath. Lily stood by the house, her white dress gleaming against the wet grass. Behind her, the windows flickered, faint blue light pulsing like a heartbeat. "Sweetheart," Emma whispered, her voice trembling. "Please come here." Lily turned her head slowly. Her eyes were dark now, pupils like black glass. "He said you belong to the water now," she said softly. Emma took a step closer. "That's not true. You're my daughter. You have to fight him." Lily smiled faintly, a child's smile too calm. "You said you'd do anything for me." The words echoed, repeating around the yard, carried on no wind. From the well came a sound. Thump, 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 like a slow heartbeat beneath the earth. Emma backed away, heart hammering. The ground beneath her feet felt spongy, soft. When she looked down, she realized why. The soil had turned to mud, and beneath the surface, faint shapes writhed, pale fingers pressing up from below. The dead were waking. She ran for the car. The old sedan sat half buried in the drive, its frame slick with mud. She yanked the door open, threw herself inside, and turned the key. Nothing. The engine coughed, sputtered. Then the radio crackled to life, whispering a single phrase in Mark's voice. "Stay with us." The rearview mirror fogged. Words appeared in the condensation, written by an unseen hand. Go back to her. The door locks clicked shut. The headlights flickered on by themselves, illuminating the figure standing directly in front of the car. The tall man. His head tilted, and water streamed from the seams in his skin. His mouth, the one stitched shut, began to twitch. The threads snapped one by one with a wet sound of tearing cloth. From the torn mouth came a sound that wasn't a voice, but a flood. The rush of water, the roar of something ancient forcing its way through. The windshield cracked. The car filled with the smell of rot and river mud. Emma screamed and kicked the door open, tumbling into the mud outside. The figure stepped closer. Trade, it said again, the voice now gurgling through its split mouth, dozens of tones layered beneath it. Emma staggered backward toward the porch. You already have me. The thing paused, tilting its head. Not yet. It raised one dripping hand, and the ground between them split open, a narrow crack that widened, gushing black water. From it, hands clawed upward, grasping at her legs. Mommy! Lily stood on the porch, reaching out. Hurry! Emma tore herself free and ran. She scooped her daughter into her arms, slamming the front door shut behind them. The sound of fists, or something like fists, pounding on the other side, shook the house. Lily buried her face in Emma's shoulder. He's angry. I don't care, Emma said, breathless. We're leaving. Right now. But when she turned, the hallway had changed. The wallpaper peeled back like skin, revealing wet timber beneath. The light bulbs flickered, bursting one after another. And at the end of the hall, the cellar door opened by itself. A voice, Mark's voice, came from below. Emma, please. It's so cold down here. She froze. Then, faintly, another voice joined his, her own. Come down. Lily lifted her head. You're calling yourself. The walls began to tremble. Water leaked from the ceiling, seeping down in black streams. The floorboards warped, swelling, cracking. Emma clutched Lily's hand and pulled her toward the stairs. Upstairs go. They reached the landing just as the first of the black water erupted through the floor, flooding the lower level. It rose impossibly fast, dragging furniture into its current. From the darkness below, shapes swam upward. Not fish, but people. Dozens, maybe hundreds. Their faces were swollen and blank, their mouths whispering the same word. Stay. Emma slammed the bedroom door and pressed her back to it. The water was already seeping through the cracks. Lily stood by the window, watching. He's in the trees. Emma followed her gaze. The tall man stood at the edge of the yard, the pines bending toward him. The branches above twisted and snapped, lowering themselves like hands reaching down. He raised one arm and pointed directly at the window. The glass shattered. A flood of cold air rushed in, carrying with it the stench of the well. Emma grabbed Lily and pulled her back. Let's go, she whispered, dragging her toward the attic ladder. We'll climb out through the roof. They scrambled up as water poured into the room below. The attic was dark, thick with dust and cobwebs. At the far end, beneath the slanted roof, stood an old trunk. Lily stopped. He said this is where it started. Emma yanked the lid open. Inside were photographs, dozens of them, of families, all in front of the same house. Different decades, same faces. The Westcotts, the Millers, the Harts, all smiling, standing by the well. In every picture, the man's face was smudged out, erased. And in the final photograph, one that looked new, the paper still wet, Emma saw herself, Mark, and Lily. Her breath caught. No! Lily looked up at her. It's already done. The roof groaned. The timber split with a sound like bones breaking. Water gushed through the cracks, flooding the attic floor. Emma climbed onto a beam, holding Lily close. Lightning split the sky above, revealing the pines writhing like a living sea. From below, the tall man's voice rose again, now vast, echoing, the sound of the well itself speaking. Every house needs a foundation. The floor beneath them buckled. Lily's small hands clutched her mother's shirt. He said if you take my place, he'll let me go. Emma stared at her, at the tear-streaked face, the trembling lips, the child who had once been afraid of the dark, but now spoke to it like an old friend. I love you, Emma whispered. Lily shook her head. You can't win. Maybe not, Emma said, standing. But I can make sure you live. She kissed her daughter's forehead, then pushed her toward the window. Climb out. Run. Don't look back. Mommy, go. Lily hesitated, then slipped through the broken frame onto the slanted roof. Rain hammered down around her. Emma turned back to the center of the attic, where the floor had opened completely. The black water below churned, faces rising in the dark. The tall man waited in the center, arms open. Emma stepped to the edge. You want to trade? She shouted. Take me then. Take me, and leave her alone. The figure tilted its head. Then it smiled. The water surged upward, swallowing her whole. Lily ran through the rain, down the flooded road, the house collapsing behind her. The sound of the well's roar shook the sky, then faded into silence. When she reached the edge of the forest, the first rays of dawn pierced through the clouds. She looked back once. The house was gone. Only the pines remained, standing tall and still. The wind carried a whisper. Stay. Lily turned away and walked toward town. 6 months later, the house stood for sale again. The sign on the post read, Charming historic farmhouse, newly restored, perfect for families. A young couple parked their SUV by the drive, their little boy racing out to explore. The realtor smiled, jingling her keys. Just listed last week, she said cheerfully. Had a few repairs after some water damage, but she's good as new. The couple followed her inside, admiring the clean floors, the freshly painted walls, the faint smell of pine oil. The little boy stopped by the window. Mommy, he said, pointing. There's someone by the well. His mother smiled distractedly. No one's there, honey. But when the boy turned back, the tall figure was gone, leaving only a ripple in the air, like heat above water. Beneath the house, in the dark earth, the black water stirred. And deep below, 2 figures floated side by side. One man, one woman, their eyes open, their mouths moving in unison. Come down,